Wednesday, we have an opportunity to come to you to talk about money, life, and everything else. On this show, we say money encompasses everything. And tonight's show is about gratitude. It matters. Be grateful. It matters. And the reason why gratitude is important, we've been saying over and over again, and I've heard it said all my life that your gratitude is everything. When you're able to stop and look back and give thanks to someone who's done something great for you, it gives them an encouragement and it gives them an opportunity to give back to you. So when was the last time you said thank you to someone who's done something for you? How do you exhibit your spirit of gratitude? Because if you don't have it, usually if we don't have it, we're not able to share with our kids and the young people in our environment. So tonight, we're gonna recount some of our blessings. I've been so blessed. And my guest tonight, my friend tonight was on the show. We have a lot to be grateful for. We're gonna recount and we're gonna give you also an opportunity to think about your blessings and the reasons why you are grateful tonight. And also too, we have an important ask. The school that my guest is the founder of, the Saline STEAM Academy, they are looking for your help. You know, Giving Tuesday in this country, in the United States of America, there is every Tuesday, the end of the month of November, you have an opportunity to give back to a nonprofit. For many reasons, you get to do it because most people do it because they love to give, but also too, there's an opportunity for you to do a tax write-off to a donation because of a donation that you've done for the year. So I'm gonna give you an opportunity to do that to support the next generation of leaders, because to whom much is given, much is required. So without further ado, I would like to welcome my friend who is on the show tonight, Dr. Regine Filippo. Please introduce yourself briefly, and we're gonna dive into this very important conversation about be grateful, it matters.
Sure. Thank you, Gabrielle, for having me on the show. Gabrielle and I met over the summer, and we have fast become friends. Only I have to tell the audiences because of how wonderful of a human being that you are and how supportive you are. I said to myself, no, no, no. Gabrielle and I have to stay connected. You're just a wonderful person. So thank you, Gabrielle,
Oh,
for having
I
me.
didn't have to pay you for that tonight, huh? Thank you so much. Because, as I said, I believe wholeheartedly that to whom much is given, much is required. And I do this because it's a labor of love. And I know when I heard about your school and we started talking about education, oh my gosh, that's my passion. And also, we started talking about how you pour into the lives of those young people who are going to be our next generation of leaders. Oh my gosh, I
Mhm.
am so excited about that. That's why tonight I couldn't think of anybody else to be part of this show about being grateful and this idea of gratitude. So I know tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Is this a holiday that you celebrate? Or, I mean, like, if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, why is it important to be thankful throughout the year?
Sure. Well, first, let me just introduce myself because I didn't do that properly when you asked the question. I'm Dr. Regine Filippo. I am the founder of Excellence for All STEAM School Network and Dessalines STEAM Academy. It is a network of educators and parents who have said we want more for our children, for our community. And
Mhm,
the first school is Dessalines STEAM Academy, a school in
mhm,
Brockton, Massachusetts, a micro school, I should say, in Brockton, Massachusetts. Um, really giving the love of engineering, the love of science, the love of technology to
mhm.
young people and to the community. We have an outreach program. It's just not our school, right? We want to share that love with our community. And so to answer the question, Thanksgiving has a very rocky history. We want to acknowledge that.
Correct.
Um, I do want to say, however, that over the years, it's been a time of gathering, it's
Mhm,
been a time of deep reflection, it's been a time where I've been able to sit with family and friends and be thankful for how much God has brought me through.
yes.
Um, and for that, I celebrate, right? I celebrate, and I am grateful and thankful during this
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I kid you not, Dr. Rashid. This is my favorite holiday. Yes, we do know about the history of this country because we've done some extensive studies, but we also understand that because this is a time to reflect and a time to be grateful just because we can do both. They're not mutually exclusive, understanding the past and also taking advantage of the now and celebrating the now. It's my favorite holiday, like I said. One of the reasons because unlike Christmas or any other holidays, you don't have to worry about bringing gifts, right?
Gifts.
Like Mother's Day, Christmas, and all. You don't have to worry about doing gifts. And you know what? When you have so much to be grateful for, I know for me that spirit of gratitude I carry throughout the year. Every single
Mhm,
day I get up, I'm able to say thank you. But it's awesome. Just like Mother's Day, you have an opportunity to celebrate your mom every day as much
mhm,
as you can, especially when they're alive with you. But of course, to have that one day set aside to do it, it's also awesome. So it's the same thing for me. I see
mhm,
Thanksgiving as the same. You be grateful every year, throughout the year,
mhm,
but that special day, yes, you get an opportunity to be with friends and family. So what are
mhm.
you grateful for?
Honestly, this year I've been in real deep reflection, and no lie, just the other day, just Monday, I was sitting back and thinking about how difficult of a year it has been,
Yeah.
especially the start of the school year. But I sat back and I looked at what we built. I looked at these students that we were giving advanced mathematics and physics and chemistry to,
Yeah.
and looking at their engineering projects. And I know that sounds a little cliche, but I had dreamed of giving folks in our community, low income families, families with children who learn differently, families with children who have ADHD, their children have ADHD, and the the school is calling them every 2 days.
Yeah.
Families who have experienced, their kids have experienced bias and racism in schools. I've imagined a place where those kids could thrive. And I
Yeah.
said, you know what? Yes, it's been a hard year. It has. But look at what when I say we, I'm talking about the community because I don't do this alone. I am not alone. There are people in the community who have called me up and said, Dr. Regine, how can I help?
Yeah. Mhm.
Right? Those folks have poured into us. And I said, look at what we have built. And
Yeah.
then look at the confidence and I think the joy that these young people are exuding. And I haven't seen that in a long time, Gabrielle.
Yeah.
And I sat back and I was just thankful for it.
Yeah. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for you because I know for me, I wouldn't be the person that I am today had it not been for my teachers.
Mhm,
Of course, my parents and people at the church, they were also Sunday school teachers. But my teachers in school, from back home all the way to the United States, I definitely am grateful for them. Just like having people who can pour into your life and really build you for the future. It's everything. But also, I'm very grateful for this show. The opportunity
yeah.
that I've had to open up to pay it forward because that's what I'm doing here. I'm paying it forward. So much has been given to me. I cannot say it enough. And that's why every single week I come and pay it forward. But it's especially nice when you get those texts. I have some fan, I call them fan because they watch every single week. And this one particular woman, every single time after the show, as soon as I say goodbye, have a blessed night, she sends me a text. Gabrielle, that was another awesome show. Keep doing the work that you're
Mhm,
doing. I'm learning. Everybody who's watching is learning. So I'm
mhm.
grateful for that.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, too, you just mentioned that there are challenges and difficulties in life.
Mhm,
Do we
mhm,
wait until everything is perfect? Because there are some people who are watching tonight saying, like, I know Thanksgiving is here, and a lot of people are being talking about being grateful. I was actually in line waiting for something for my aunt earlier today, and I heard a gentleman said, I'm not even gonna do dinner tonight, this week,
Mm,
tomorrow,
mm,
because
mhm,
I don't want the hassle, and I don't have the energy. I don't have the,
mhm,
I'm not in the mood, right? So do we
mhm,
have to wait until everything is perfect before
mhm.
we cultivate that spirit of gratitude?
No, I don't think we wait at all. I think, like you said, I think every day we have to take some time and think about the blessings that we have been giving.
Mhm,
Um, I know for me that there are times that are really, really rough, right? There are times where you feel kind of like drained.
mhm,
You've given your all,
correct.
and it doesn't seem to be enough.
Mhm,
Um, During those times, I allow myself to retreat, right? I do, for those folks who are like, well, I don't know about tomorrow, right? I do allow myself to retreat. I allow myself to have a moment, but then I think about where I was a year ago and
mhm,
how something was a dream and now it's a reality.
correct.
Or I'm grateful for the fact that, I just thinking about my own mother, grateful for the fact that I still have time with her.
Mm,
Um, Grateful for the fact that I have a community of educators and parents who, again, like I was saying, pour into me. So they're just different. I would get, just like you, I would get a call and say, just an elder at a church, a different church than I go to. She said she's been sending me text messages um every other day just to keep me encouraged.
mhm,
So I don't wait. I don't wait to be grateful. I
correct.
do allow myself moments, right, when I have to when I feel like I'm drained, and to go back and rest. But then after that, I go back and I say, I'm gonna pick it back up,
Yeah.
and I'm grateful for the people who are around me have helped me do that.
Yeah, I think it's very important to not patronize, or to not minimize, I should say, your feelings. If you go into a hard time, reach out to all the great friends and the connections that you have so that they could help you. Because I know I've been there, I've been down. I'm a upbeat person, but there are times where I've needed to cry, and I've called
Mhm,
somebody, a friend or a family member. I have three older sisters, one of which actually years ago, when I was perhaps, I don't know, in my 20s, and I still remember it today. I was going through a situation at work, and I called her, and she's like, Gabrielle, I know this seems very difficult for you right now, but this too shall pass. And then there's the song. I don't know if you know that song, because I know we both believers. It says, Comptez les bienfaits de Dieu, mais les tous
mhm.
devant tes yeux. So it's like
Yes,
count the goodness of God and bring them all before you, in front of your eyes. And
yes,
as you count in all your blessings, you will see that how good he's been to you. And every time I
yes.
get discouraged, I'm like, okay, comptez les bienfaits de Dieu.
De
Like I'm
Dieu.
counting the goodness of God. And so the goodness of God is so great, because every single morning, have you been able to get up
Mhm,
and do your ADLs, your activities of daily living? Because I've been to the hospital to see friends who have not been able to do that. They are in bed. Somebody has to come and clean them. Somebody has to move them. Somebody has to move
mhm,
them in the bed so that they don't have bed sores. There's so much that when you are exposed to certain things, you are able to say, I am so grateful. Every time I take my car, go to and from someplace, and I come back home, I say thank you. I say thank
mhm,
you. It's a spirit of gratitude. I go away sometimes during the year. When I go away, you go on a plane and you come back home
mhm,
safely. Oh my gosh.
mhm,
Yeah. So if you take the time to count, I don't think
mhm,
you will worry about all the things that you don't have. Because isn't it true? Like when you don't take you ended up being more grateful when you spend less time thinking about the things that you don't have, and more times to think about the things that you have.
Listen, I have to be honest. There have been times in my life where if you would compare it to now or compare it to someone who is very well resourced, I've had very little. But
Yeah.
let me tell you what I did have. I had a mother who loved me
Hmm.
and protected me.
Correct.
And I had family members who say, Evelyn, what do you need? Oh, you need me to pick up Reggie?
Hmm.
Um, I've had cousins who were kind to me. I had teachers who were kind to me. I remember one teacher, I went to a Catholic school in Long Island. I remember one teacher, it was my birthday, and I just, no one knew, no one said happy birthday. And she just noticed, she said, "What's going on?" And she just spent time with me and she said, "Happy birthday." That little act, I still remember over
Yeah,
30 years
correct.
after. And
Yeah.
so, I say this because I do think that, material things are one thing, but when we have people who really, who decide and agree to be part of our village, who pour into us, who care about us, who surround us. That is invaluable. You can't pay for that,
Correct.
right? Um, and I keep thinking about the school and going back to the school. I can't pay for the parents who are supporting us. I can't pay that support. Um, I'm just grateful for it. And again, I don't have to wait to be grateful. I'm grateful now.
Yeah, it's important to be grateful, but we were talking offline, like you just mentioned your teachers and the different people pour into your life. Someone who called your mom and say to Evelyn, is her name, do you
Mhm.
need me to pick up Regine or Dr. Regine now, right? She didn't know she was picking up Dr. Regine, but well, how has the spirit? I think that question I wanted to address that. How has the spirit of gratitude added to your personal financial bottom line? I know for me, again, I would say to you, like my scholarships at
Mhm.
school, when I received
Mhm.
one scholarship, I made sure that I wrote a letter to thank my benefactor. And because of that, I would get other ones and get other ones, because the more I said thank you, I went back to say thank you, the more they'll be willing to give to me. So how has the spirit of gratitude, willing and able to go back to say thank you, has helped you?
Mhm. I think that, again, I go back to this idea of being part of a community,
Mhm.
and being connected. So when I say thank you, when I show appreciation,
Correct.
when I show gratefulness, I I send a message to someone. I send a message that they matter,
Mm-hmm.
that their actions are meaningful to me and they've added to my life,
Mm-hmm.
and that I recognize and I see you. You know that term that people say, "I see you,"
Correct.
right? Um, and that really I think, I know for me, when people do that for me, it draws me in.
Mm-hmm.
And when it draws me in, it makes me feel, even if we're not close friends, there are young people, they're out living their lives. They're not necessarily my close friends. But when they come back and say thank you, I'm more invested in their success. So
Correct.
when you say added, how has it contributed to my financial blessing? It's contributed by opening more doors, like you said, more opportunities. Someone might be looking out for you,
Mm-hmm.
because you said thank you,
Correct.
right? Because they know you see them. So,
Yeah,
um,
definitely. I know Joel, who introduced us. He had referred one person, and I called him and I said, Joel, thank you so much for doing that. And I was praising him for doing it. And he kept sending more and more friends. Saying, like, you need to connect with, oh my gosh, you need to connect to with Dr. Regine, because you guys have a lot in common. So the more you go back and say thank you, it's so important, because I noticed, I don't know if you know that, I don't know if I was talking to you or somebody else, when we said that you have children that you give to, like whether it's birthday gift or Christmas gift or graduation gift, and their parents are not teaching them how to write a thank you note to that auntie, to that friend, to that family
mhm,
member, to say, I know, not too long ago I made sacrifice. I made a major sacrifice to go celebrate with someone, with a card, give gifts, and never got,
mhm,
not from parents, because your parents are not to be the one to say thank you for you. The
mhm,
child has to be taught how
mhm,
to email, text, or send a
Mm-hmm.
card to an adult. Do you agree with that? Especially in light of the fact that you
Mm-hmm.
are teaching the next generation of leaders. How have you been able to do that or cultivate that or encourage that at the Salin STEAM Academy?
Yeah, well, there are several ways. One of them is because we're always interacting with mentors, industry experts who
Mhm.
help us. So that's something that we believe at Desaline. So we believe learning from experts.
Mhm.
Um, and so we make sure that we go back and the students say thank
Mhm.
you. And they usually say
Right.
thank you physically, like, orally at the end of a session. We've been blessed. This is somebody you should have on the show. He works with New York Life. I'm not, advertising anything in particular, but he's a
Yeah.
great person to know. But he helped us with our he helped students with their business plan last year,
Yeah.
and the students were very, very grateful for that. We have the partnerships that we are putting in place, and I'm already starting to say thank you and starting to get the kids prepped for
Mhm.
that. And so there's that piece, making sure that it actually happens. There's also the piece of the fact that for you to be grateful, you have to understand the importance of somebody else,
Yeah.
right? And so we start with our Ubuntu principles, with our principles that govern our community. We start with the understanding that every member of that community means something,
Mm.
is important, has value, and therefore is worthy of not just respect, but continual connection and a fostering of a relationship. So once you start lay that groundwork, it's a lot easier for them to say thank you and to see
Yeah.
the value in saying thank you, right? So
Yeah.
those are two very concrete ways that we foster gratefulness.
Yeah, definitely. That spirit of gratitude, in my opinion, is a learned behavior. You
Mhm.
gotta start teaching it. I always say, not even the cradle, you gotta start teaching it from inception or conception or conception. Because if you have the second like how they have like the baby showers and all
You're
that
right.
stuff for folks who are pregnant, they should start saying, my baby said thank you. Because if you start sending those cards, and so when they're like 1 year old, when they're born and the gifts are given to them, they're gonna learn. And I think, we were talking about some cultures, especially ours. I'm Haitian, and I think Haitian American born or here or in Haiti, I'm not sure. But I noticed that folks will rather avoid you completely than coming back to say thank you.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
and I think, do you think pride, or in my opinion, pride might be a part of it, or is it because certain cultures, folks like to remind you of what they've done for you? And how is it if you are grateful, if you are someone who lives in the spirit of gratitude, would
Mhm.
you be someone who will be reminding somebody as to what you've done for them in the past?
I'm
But
laughing
you're funny,
because
huh?
Gabrielle and I are both Haitian. And I was born in Haiti
Yeah.
and came here at a young age of 9 years old. Um, but Gabrielle, I'm gonna be honest here. It's hard for me to answer that question because I don't think I let myself be surrounded by people who have that spirit. Like,
Yeah.
what, you don't stay long near me if that's what you're gonna do. I
Yeah.
don't have time for that. I really don't. I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
So I, even though I'm respectful, I'll say, okay, but the people that are near, that are part of my network are people who are always showing gratitude and always showing thankfulness. So I don't really have a word for that. I
Yeah.
know that in every culture there are those few. The What I have experienced in the Haitian culture has been amazing, and it's probably because I gravitate towards amazing Haitian people,
Right.
amazing people in our community and amazing people in every community. So when people say certain things about like we have listen, we are very we have a whole lot of pride. So in some ways it's great,
Mm-hmm.
right? You cannot put us down.
Correct.
try
Yeah.
try that with a Haitian person. They'll remind you who you are and who you're not.
Exactly.
Um, but in other ways, the people who live, like you said, with a spirit of gratitude, who make that a daily part of who they are, um, those are people that will gravitate towards people like me and you, where we're trying to constantly give to our community.
Correct.
Um, and so I've been fortunate because I've been surrounded by those folks.
Yeah, I think it's very important that we. I mean, the reason for my question was because I want to make sure that folks understand that when you live in the spirit of gratitude, because someone had said to me, "I don't want you to help me, Gabrielle." Someone who needed help, and I was like, "What do you need help with? Let me. I don't want you to help me because I don't want you to remind me that you later on that you helped me." And
Mhm.
I'm like, "What does that mean? I'm not understanding that
Mhm.
concept." Because I've been giving, so that's why I'm giving forward. I'm paying it forward. And he's
Mhm.
like, no, 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 you don't understand. People usually remind you or reproche this how what
Mhm.
they did for you. And I was like, no, if you live in a spirit of gratitude, you don't have that type of attitude. Gratitude, avoid that attitude, right? Because I live in the spirit of gratitude, I don't have that attitude. And also, too, I think if from the time you're little, you teach your kids to say thank you. You know, the magic words that we say, children say thank you and please. Because when you
Mhm.
say thank you, you're acknowledging somebody's giving to you. And
Mhm.
when you say please, you are also acknowledging that you're asking for help.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
when you live in the spirit of gratitude, you will not have an attitude of I did for you, so therefore I have to remind you every day. So I think one of the reasons why I wanted to emphasize this is because it's so important that as a culture and other cultures who are watching, because my show goes all the way to Africa and other places. If your culture is like that, please cultivate an attitude of gratitude so that you don't have to be the type of person who said to someone, I've done something for you 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I did this for you. Because you know what? Because you will be so grateful every day for what's being done for you that
Mhm.
it'll be a pleasure. It will be your honor to be able to pay it forward and give something to someone else, to give back to someone
Absolutely.
else. So, because again, we were saying like, when someone say, "How do you feel about that?" I've done everything on my own. Nobody's helped them. Because have you heard
I
people say,
have.
"Oh, I did everything on my own." Nobody. I didn't have rich parents. I didn't have rich uncles. I did everything on my own. Do we? Have you met anybody who's been able to do everything by themselves?
I have not. I have not. And even when I think about my own story of coming to the United States, of learning how to speak English, of going to engineering school, of facing racism throughout my education and my professional career, um, I cannot say that I did it on my own. I did not get here on my own. Even the skills that I've gained, I'm not to toot my own horn, but um I'm pretty good at what I do,
Mm-hmm.
right? But that's not because I did it on my own.
Correct.
One, there were mentors, there were people who were willing to sacrifice for me, both professionally, in the education space. I had a professor pull me out of class once. This was at Columbia University. I was an engineering student, and I was just, again, going through a rough time. And she said, you can do this, right? She
Hmm.
goes, go back. Here are the things I need you to study, and you're going to return this assignment. And I was like, okay, right? Like, even that act,
Yeah.
like, I don't think you understand I don't know if everyone understands what that means
Oh, I
to
know.
someone,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That shows a belief in someone
Yeah.
that I can, again, is invaluable. And
Correct.
it made me like crave success,
Right.
and crave achievement.
Mhm.
When I was at a point where I thought that, I was done. Um, I've had supervisors. I remember, again, I was working at Columbia University. It was during my undergrad. I went to Columbia University twice. So I went for my undergrad and I went for my doctorate. So
Yeah.
you'll hear a lot of that. Um, and I had a supervisor, I had two supervisors who were both African American. And when I tell you these people poured into me, when I tell you that they would send me and say, "Hey, this is how you act in a professional space," um, when I think others would just, I think, either be dismissive or
Yeah.
punitive, right?
Yeah.
But these folks said, "No, I'm going to pull your side and I'm going to tell you exactly what I expect. I'm going to be very clear about what I expect, and and even if you fall and you make a mistake, I'm going to tell you you made a mistake. I'm going to help you up."
Yeah.
Right.
So
I didn't get I there's no way I got here.
yeah, you cannot do it by yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
this idea of I'm a lone ranger and I'm
Yeah.
a solo practitioner, and and I did it by myself. Well, not only that you had parents, even if you were adopted or someone who was left alone, if you didn't have a mother or father, you had parents. You had somebody in the community who helped you
Someone cared.
when you
Someone
were.
opened a door.
Yeah, how long does it
Someone.
take? Yeah, how long does it actually take for us to even realize we are on this earth? I think you like 6, 7, 8, the first 10 years of your life. I remember one time I was saying to my sisters, or one of my older sisters, no, anything for me, those teenage years, right? And she's like, "Oh, did you change your underpants when you were little?" And I'm like, she's like, "I was there to do all that stuff when you guys were born." You know what I mean? So you had that support. But I was reminded, as you were saying, I had a teacher in high school when I came here. I was learning English, of course, and she was my Latin teacher. So I decided, I would take Latin as my second language, my foreign language option. And everybody told me, "Well, how are you learning English and you're doing Latin too? Take French because you're already familiar." But I was like, "No, I want to challenge myself. I'm gonna take Latin." And actually, I had a couple of people told me, "You're not gonna make it. You're not gonna
Mm,
do well." And
mm,
I was like, "I'm Gabrielle. I'll show you." you know, I say, "I'm Gabrielle. I'll show you." And I've always been like that, not in pompous way, but I just
mm,
wanted to show people that I could work hard and make it happen.
mm,
But it so happened that I found the best teacher. She's still my favorite. I'm not gonna say the name because she's my password in so many ways. And that lady, an Italian little lady, she never had her own kids. Teaching was her life. And I had her for 2 years and I got straight A's in her class. And she actually elected me to be student of the month at the high school. And but what I remember the most about her when I was graduating, she stopped the class and said, "Gabrielle, I have no doubt you're gonna do well." And I was like, why would she even say something like this? And let me tell you, it's been many, many moons. But I still remember how that made me feel. Like, "Gabrielle, I have no doubt you're gonna do
mm,
well." And when
mm,
she said that, I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's like almost like a mandate." I was on a
mm,
mandate to like push forward, and I had so many
mm,
obstacles along the way. But every time I wanted to give up on my education, when things got very bad, very difficult, I remember my professor saying, "Gabrielle," that teacher saying, "Gabrielle, I have no doubt that you're gonna do well." So something as
mm,
simple as a word of encouragement someone
mm,
gives to you, you have to be grateful for and remember to pay it forward. That's why I'm the type of person, my heart leaps when I get an opportunity to say a positive thing, to pour a
mm,
positive message into the life of somebody else. So, with that being said, I just wanted to say again, thank you for being on the show. We wanted to have this show about gratitude because here you are, you could have opted for so many different options, but you opted to pour into your community by opening this school called the Saline STEAM Academy. And I know when we're talking, you said, Gabrielle, the struggle is real, right?
Yes, it
And I
is.
thought, the spirit of Thanksgiving, for this season, and also to
Mhm,
Giving Tuesday. So, what would you say
mhm.
to someone who's watching right now and said, you know what, I like this lady. I would like to learn more about her
Right.
school, and also would like to pour into her life so that she could continue to pay it forward and educating these young leaders. How can they help? Why should they help? And
Mhm.
yeah, and how much money do you need them to help you with?
Well, let's start by saying that um, why care? So for me, for me, and it might be the same for you,
Yeah,
that a strong community really matters.
yeah,
Um, and one of the best ways, right, we can bring up are these young leaders who are going to lead our community
yes.
is to educate them well.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we're doing at Dessalines is just that we're pouring into them in ways that is not common in regular educational settings. So when I say our students as young as sixth grade, as young as second grade are taking physics and they're taking chemistry, I really do mean that.
Mm.
Um, and just today, for example, I had a conversation with two ladies who really don't like math, right? They're in the same school, but they don't like math. And I told them that they absolutely can do it.
Correct.
They absolutely are brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this conversation with them because the only thing that I thought was stopping them was their belief in themselves. I said, I cannot do that for you, but you must know that I believe in you.
Correct.
And I want you to believe in yourself. And I want you to give it a shot. I want you to try. And all of a sudden, at the end of the session, these like, boom, boom. I was like, okay, like distributed property. I mean, I know that might sound trivial, but it really does mean a lot to a child.
Yeah.
And one of the other things that we want to do, we want to pour that spirit and pour that love right back into the larger community. So I talked about an outreach program. We have an outreach program where our kids are the ones um, doing the outreach around STEM, a love of STEM, because we're so underrepresented in a field that's so lucrative.
Correct.
And so I think if you care about community, if you care about young people, then you will care about Dessalines. You will care that we are really doing it differently and we're thriving. Um, I would also say that if you are someone who's like Giving Tuesdays is coming up, or you're just like, well, I need a place to give because it's the end of the year and I'm going to get a tax rate. We're a nonprofit. We're a 501(c)(3),
Correct.
and we would use the money to pour into children. So
Correct.
every little bit gets poured into children, whether it is the children who go to the school or the children in the surrounding community. Every last dime gets poured into a child. And this year has been difficult. It's been a difficult fundraising year. Last year, we didn't struggle this much. We do need quite a bit. I'm not going to be fearful. We need $100,000, right?
Yeah.
We need to raise $100,000.
Well, I mean, that's not a lot. Universities here cost $100,000 for a degree
That's true.
minimum. Yeah, yeah,
That's
that's
true.
not a lot. Yeah,
That's true.
education, in my opinion, is priceless, especially when we can do it as a collective. Everybody can add a little bit, donate a little bit at a time. Yes.
And I say this last year, we had a number of people who were donating $50 to $100 a month, or sometimes they could only do 25 or 30. But because there were many hands, right? Like the Haitian saying, many hands makes the, comment ça? Many hands are makes the
Kalalugwe. I don't know.
Makes it light, but the burden light,
The
right?
burden light, yeah. Yeah.
So so when you pour, you don't have to pour your savings. You can just say, I want to give a little bit, and a little bit does go a long way. If you are someone who is extremely well resourced, and you want to give in the thousands, come see us. We have Gabrielle is coming in a couple of weeks, so come with
Yeah.
Gabrielle. Come see
Yeah.
us. Come
Yeah.
see what we do. Donate to us. Again, every penny goes to children.
Yeah. Definitely. I know, again, going back to being grateful and having a spirit of gratitude, you cannot be somebody who's grateful and have a spirit of gratitude and never give back or never pay forward. Because thanksgiving, you gotta be thankful, but also you gotta give. Because that's when you know you put in your mouth for your, what is it? Your mouth where your heart is,
I
or
never know any story.
public pleasure. You gotta give if you're gonna be thankful, right? Because again, you're looking back saying, like, somebody gave to me. How can I pour? And now we know that there's so many different opportunities for you to give, whether it's church, family, community. But this to me is a great cause. The education of our young people is so important. The struggles that they deal with at certain school, public school, and otherwise, it's so important if you are able and willing to please reach out. Now, the website again, what's the website, Dr. Regine?
Yes, it is excellence for all
Yeah,
steamschools.org.
yeah.
So excellence,
Mm-hmm.
EXCELLENCE for
Mm-hmm.
FOR, all, ALL, STEAM, STEAM, schools, SCHOOLS.org.
Yeah, definitely. And we're gonna link that. I believe it's already been linked to all the different social media platforms that we are on. It's very important that we give back. We won't be talking about Thanksgiving today. I know tomorrow is a day where we're gonna eat as much as we can. All the turkey, all the different side dishes, everybody's gonna be happy. But at the end of the day, yes, it's a moment of reflection, but it's also a moment to give back. So with that being said, I just want to again say thank you. I wanted to find out how you gonna. You said you're gonna be with your family tomorrow, right? Yeah,
Yes.
you're gonna enjoy all the food. Are you doing any of the cooking?
I think this year, so usually okay, my husband he's not actually a chef, but he's so good, like he might as well be a chef.
Good for
So
you.
usually, really, and I'm good at side dishes, right? I'm good at macaroni
Yeah.
and lasagna.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I can
Let's see.
cook.
Let's see if you can compete with me, because you know what I did today? I did my
Mhm.
two lasagnas, because I did one with red meat, one with turkey, because not everybody in my family eats red meat, and then I had my macaroni and cheese. All that is already been done. It's done. All I have to do is put it in the oven, and
Yeah,
that's and I was saying to you that I'm in charge, because I just love Thanksgiving so much that I'm in charge of it in my family. And every year I used to do a lot of the work myself, but this year I sent an email to everybody, or chat message to everybody in the family chat, saying, like, listen, I'm gonna recruit everybody to do something, and I'm gonna assign everybody to do something. And you know what? It has alleviated so much of the stress that I usually feel. And because I got my part done, and now I'm getting texts from everybody saying, like, oh yeah, I took care of that. Yes, yeah, thank you for letting me know this is what I need to bring. And it's an awesome thing. Do you see
that's
it's
the
the
same
moment.
thing we were saying. Many hands makes the burden light.
Yeah,
So
the Lord is
we
light when
all,
there are many hands.
yes,
And
yeah,
because you want to stay in the spirit of gratitude, you want to make sure you delegate properly, so that
that's
you
right.
don't have to have any resentment.
That's right.
Because a lot of resentment can be created when you are not delegating. You need to give people their own responsibilities, right? Give them work to do so that you can do less. and then be happy and really get to celebrate. So I just want to thank you again, Dr. Regine. Thank you to all who are watching, who are going to be watching. Perhaps folks are going to be watching this tomorrow with their families and friends. I just want to thank you again. I couldn't do this show without your support. Gratitude is everything. Be grateful. It matters. Find ways. Comptez les bienfaits. Comptez. Count all your blessings every single day. If you cannot find a way to count them, ask a friend. Tell a friend, what should I be grateful for? You know me more than anybody else because I'm having a hard time counting my blessing. We don't want to trivialize those who are struggling because we know this is a tough time. When I was hearing that gentleman, he said, I'm not going to be cooking. Part of it was because he said, cost. There are resources available for you. If you need help, call your elected officials. That's why they're here in the United States. Call them. They'll guide you to a nonprofit who can provide with you with a bag of food or different things, even money. I know at my church, every Sunday, different pastors, they say, hey, if you are struggling and you need help, we have help for you. There are tons of help are available to you. Do not live in isolation. We just said over and over again, we said it over and over again that community matters. And in order for you to cultivate that spirit of gratitude, you have to give people an opportunity to give to you, and you have to open yourself up for an opportunity to give to people. When they give to you, you say thanks. When you are able to give to them, that's you doing the giving, and they'll give you a thank you. So thank you so much again. I cannot say enough thank you. This has been a great night. And yeah, any last word, Dr. Regine, before I hang up and say goodbye? Get ready for my Thanksgiving tomorrow.
Yes, I will say that the phrase that you use really sticks with me. It resonates with me, which is pay it forward. And so, for those of you who've had an educator in your life, who really cared about you, just think about desaline. That's what we're doing with young people and with the surrounding community. And the second thing is that I really want to encourage all of my friends and family members to follow Gabrielle and all of you guys to share this platform. Gabrielle is an exceptional person. This is someone who will go above and beyond for you. And there aren't many people like that in our community, and we have to support you, Gabrielle. So thank you.
Honey. I appreciate it. I have many supporters, and I appreciate all of them. Thank you so much. God bless you. Hope you have a beautiful, a peaceful, a joyous, just an awesome day tomorrow, celebrating with your friends and family. And if you go into a hard time, knowing that this too shall pass, and keep counting your blessings because you have many. You're watching me, so you have many. Thank you so much. Have a blessed night.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.